All right. And we are live. Hey guys, welcome to the Superhero Cuts podcast where we talk about things Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. Please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you know when we post. Stevie Hayes, per usual, Comic Cuts as usual. And we have a guest on today, Rome, the comic book geek. What's up, dog?
What's up, brother?
So this
What's
has been a
going
long
on,
time
y'all?
coming. Long time coming. I've been on his TikTok lives a couple of times. Follow him on TikTok and Instagram. He puts out content literally all day. He goes crazy, bro. So happy
Try
that you're
to.
on today. Yeah, so we have a
Thank you. I'm
lot,
happy to be here.
of course, bro. Thank you for jumping on. So we
Mm,
have a lot to talk about today, but I do want to start just talking about Loki for a moment. Because obviously episode 5 came out today, or it came out 2 days ago. And obviously it's stirring up a lot in the pot about what is going on. So did you guys watch Loki episode 5?
I did
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
I watched
So
4. I didn't watch 5. I'm gonna watch that today.
so I don't want to spoil it, so I don't want to talk about it.
Go ahead.
You
No,
sure?
go ahead, bro. This your
Okay.
episode. Go ahead.
Okay. So the biggest thing out of the whole entire episode is that Loki can. So remember in the beginning where Loki was doing his thing where he was doing a time slip where he would basically slip
Yeah.
in the time. He can now control it.
Mm.
And so basically Loki is his own tempad. So he can go any place he wants in time, anywhere. And so basically at the end of the episode, the episode ends where Loki goes back to the first episode where him and Obi and the whole gang were standing where the time loom is. And
Mm.
so that's how it ends. So just to give like everyone just info, if you're watching it here, the time loom is basically this device that basically keeps all of the multiversal timelines in balance, and it makes sure that the timelines don't collide, because when it
Mm.
collides a thing happens. It's called an incursion. And
Mm.
so that's why the time loom is such an important thing. But what is happening is that the time loom can't hold all of these new timelines that are being created. And so, and we're going to
Exactly.
see in the Marvels that a potential incursion is happening. But anyways, but so we keep seeing these multiverses collide, and there's like thousands of strands and timelines being created. And so what they're trying to do is they are trying to expand the time loom so it can hold all of the timelines, because in Loki season 1, what He Who Remains did is that He Who Remains pruned all of those timelines because he didn't want any more Kangs to be made, because with a new Earth means a new Kang. And that's how the multiversal
Right.
war started. Now, this is my theory for how Loki is going to end. I believe that Loki is going to be in charge of the time variance
Yeah.
authority, and I believe that Loki is going to allow all of these multiversal Earths to keep being made. They're not going to stop it, but I do believe that Loki is going to recruit the multiversal like Avengers, and this is where I think we are going to get characters like Toby, like Hugh Jackman, etc., etc. And I believe that they might possibly be going around the multiverse, defeating the Kangs in the other multiversal Earths, because the
Mm.
whole entire theme of this season was like, I don't want to kill any more people. So yeah, that's
Mm.
kind of where I think it's heading. Comic
Oh
Cuts, how
wow.
about you? How you feel about it?
Yeah, I kind of see that's where it's going. Also, listen, I think that first of all, this I always say it, the story going into Secret Wars and Marvel Comics is one of my all-time favorites. That Hickman run is pure fire, and preventing the multiversal war is interesting the way the MCU is doing it, and they're giving us comic readers a treat because it's very different from that story. And obviously, it had to be because of the characters, and the characters are completely different because they, killed off Iron Man, Cap, Black Widow, etc. But it definitely does seem like this Loki season is there to kind of like Loki season 1 was there to introduce Kang. I think Loki
Mm.
season 2 is there to introduce the prevention of the multiversal war and introduce us into the multiversal war. And
Mm.
it's obvious that the kind of what you were saying, the very beginning of the Loki season 2, they were talking about the time loom and there was that like circle, and they were like, we can't carry too many timelines because it once starts hitting out of bounds, that's when we get incursions and problems. Listen, I really do hope that they keep Kang. I know we're going to get into that a little bit later in the episode, but we're going to get Doctor Doom. I want to get Doctor Doom. I think everyone wants to get Doctor Doom, but Kang is one of the best villains of all time. Jonathan Majors is incredible as him. And I understand why, if Marvel is going to, should I save this or should I just get into it?
Yeah, save it.
Okay.
Save it because we're literally talking about this next.
Okay.
So, Rome, how do you feel about all that? About Loki? How this show is basically like showing us that Loki's basically going to be in charge of the whole multiverse for a time.
I love it. I think that I think the MCU needs this. Like, it's an absolutely need. Like, we need Loki and to help put the pieces together to the main picture, if that makes sense. So, because I think, and this is just my weird opinion, I think that this is going to somehow connect directly with Deadpool, but that's just me. I may be wrong.
100%.
I may be wrong. But I think that somehow this is going to directly connect to whatever the events that happen in Deadpool. So we need it. I love it. To me, I have no problem.
Exactly. And there is that rumor that the TVA is going to be heavily involved in the Deadpool 3 movie because the crap that he did in Deadpool 2, he's going to have to pay for those, pay for those things that he did, where he went back and killed all of his past selves and all this crazy crap. So it's going to be very interesting to see how, the TVA plays a role. And if Loki's in it, that would be also very interesting as well. But yeah, so yeah, bro. So what they're gearing Loki up for, I'm pretty excited. And obviously, Loki came in saying he had a glorious purpose. Well, he has a glorious purpose, and it's literally to rule the freaking multiverse, which is going to be literally insane, bro. It's going imagine when Thor and Loki meet again, and Loki's more powerful than any king. He literally runs the multiverse. It's going to be kind of crazy. So
yeah,
very excited about that. Okay,
yeah.
So now let's get into the topic that I've kind of been wanting to talk about for the past week, which is Doctor Doom replacing Kang the Conqueror, because I know I am pro Doom, Comic Cuts, you're pro Kang, Rome, you're pro both. Yes. I guess you want both in it. So
yes,
Comic Cuts, I want you to state your case because you and I were kind of debating this earlier this week. So the floor is yours.
First of all, I am not anti Doom. I love Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is one of the all-time greats. He's the most powerful Marvel villain. I want Doom as much as anyone else. However, we have the best part of the MCU that we've had in this post-Endgame era has been Kang. And we've been teased so much Kang, and they built him up to be so badass. And now all of a sudden they're talking about swapping him out. No, man, I've been bought into this. I wanted more Kang. I want to see Kang Dynasty. I want to see Kang lead us into Secret Wars. And by the way, they could do Kang and have Doctor Doom. I think that would be the best way to do it, and have Doctor Doom be the one to take out Kang. And even better, I think it would be cool if they switch up in Secret Wars and have Doctor Doom win, and then take Doctor Doom into the MCU post-Secret Wars. I think that would be crazy, because here's the thing. Say they do keep Kang, which is what I would like to see, and they only bring in Doctor Doom in maybe Kang Dynasty or after Kang Dynasty going into Secret Wars. It's a very short amount of time, right, to have a villain like Doctor Doom. And if that's the case, you can't kill off Doctor Doom and only have him in for 1 or 2 movies, And I think, listen, when the Avengers lose or there's tragedy for the Avengers, historically, those have been the best times. Civil War, the Avengers lost. Infinity War, the Avengers lost. Endgame, they may have won, but they suffered some major L's. So, listen, all I'm saying is I like Kang a lot. I think everyone likes Kang a lot. I think some people, hear Doctor Doom and they get so excited that they're like, whatever about Kang. But look at the performance Jonathan Majors just put on as Victor Timely. I mean, that was incredible. That was some of the best acting we've had in the MCU. And yes, listen, I fully understand that if Jonathan Majors, has a court case and it gets ugly, which it definitely will, because all these shitty ass magazines love to pick on someone when a celebrity when they're going through a hard time, because that means clicks and gimmicks. And listen, and if he did it, he deserves all that smoke, and he deserves to, have his day in court, and get his sentence 100%. I'm not minimizing that. But I also, hope that's not the case. I hope that's not the case. I hope he's innocent, and I hope he can continue as Kang. Now, I know I'm always pro recast. I think Kang would be a very difficult recast, and I think that recent episode with Victor Timely showed why he's just not a guy that's an easy recast. And yeah, there's a lot of great actors that have people have thrown the name around for a recast, but I think T'Challa would have been an easier recast than
100%
Victor Timely, because
I agree.
Jonathan Majors is playing. I mean, he's already played 3 different versions of the character that are like totally different people. And to have that much range within the same character is insane and almost unheard of. But listen, like Doctor Doom, if they did replace Kang with Doctor Doom, I don't think that people are going to care. I think people are going to be the comic heads like us are going to get so excited about Doctor Doom that the casual fans are going to see it and they're going to get hyped up and everyone's going to forget about Kang, if that's the case. I hope it's not the case. Like I said, I want to see Kang, but it's not hard to hype up Doctor Doom. He looks badass. He is badass. He's been the most powerful villain of Marvel Comics for as long as eternity. So it wouldn't be hard for Marvel to hype that up. But the other thing is like the next couple phases of the MCU have all been mapped out based on Kang. And to switch that now, I don't know if that will benefit or hurt the story. I kind of think that kind of an audible this late in the game would have drastic effects. And I think that's the part that no one's talking about.
Okay. Good. All right, Rome. How do you feel about all this?
I mean, I can't really disagree with you. I think Doom need to be implemented in the story, like regardless of recasting or whatever the situation is. Doom has to be in the story. So for them to say, "Oh, well, they thought about replacing Kang with Doom," and it's like, bro, let's be 1,000% honest. Like at the end of the day, we don't know who the Fantastic Four is, and it's been like 500 years. Okay, how long you think it's gonna take them to find Doom? Okay, let's think about that from a logical perspective here. That would be hard in general, especially if you don't have anyone there to even play Doom, right? So I think that he needs to be implemented in the story. It doesn't have to be to the degree of directly from the comics, but like you said, that would be a cool storyline. If Doom take out Kang, I didn't even think of it like that. But to me, if you have them both, that just makes it, because we're getting all the heroes. We know that we're getting our favorite heroes back, most of them. Let's make it an event, right? So just for them to say, we'll just scrap Kang and then we'll do Dr. Doom, I'm like, I don't think they should do that. That's just me personally. I think you got to find a way to make them both work. To me, that's just me.
Yeah. So where I'm at with everything is, honestly, we don't really know what's going to happen until this case is over. I think that case decides what's going to happen, for sure. But if I was in Feige's position, as I said, I just don't think I don't even know why they would do Secret Wars without Doctor Doom anyways. crazy, crazy situation thing. Plus, because they already have the rights to these characters. And after playing the Spider-Man game, seeing how Venom was branded as the main villain, but Craven was branded kind of as the main villain in the game, but then you got Venom, and it just hinted to the Green Goblin and all of these other things. It's like it kind of surprised you. So, if Marvel does have the opportunity to do both, I wouldn't mind to where like Kang Dynasty is all about Kang, taking over, and then Doom comes in, takes him out, and then then we go to Secret Wars where the situation gets even worse. I think that would be awesome. I do think though that how would that fit into the Fantastic Four movie? Because right now it looks like the way that the Fantastic Four movie is going to be is that they're going to be facing off against Galactus, and Galactus is going to destroy their Earth, and they're going to get moved to our MCU timeline from losing to Galactus. So I think there's a lot of questions with Doctor Doom kind of taking a role, because where would he get introduced in the future? If that's the route that the Fantastic Four goes now, you maybe could do like a beginning, well, what if the first maybe 30 is about Doctor Doom or something? Don't you know how do you know how like Captain America, the Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, don't you know how like Captain America Civil War, he went up against Crossbones, but that whole Crossbones mini storyline was kind of built at the end of the Winter Soldier. Maybe they could do something like that to where like that will hint to something more. But that's my only fear with Doctor Doom is like, if this F4 movie is going to be about Galactus, how do you fit Doctor Doom like into it? And this is where my answer is, it would have to be Doctor Strange 3, because Doctor Doom is a sorcerer, Doctor Strange is a sorcerer, and the rumor for that Doctor Strange movie is that they're going to be kind of going through the multiverse and all of that jazz and dealing with like Mephisto. Doctor Doom had to deal with Mephisto to save his mom, so maybe that might be a way to bring him in. And I actually wouldn't mind Doctor Doom coming in being connected to Doctor Strange.
I think that the Doctor Strange idea is actually pretty cool. As I've said before, they have to do Fantastic Four differently, and that means I think not being against Doctor Doom, and it sucks that it's that way, but they've tried now 2 different eras of Fantastic Four and both have failed. They got to do something we haven't seen before, and they have to try something new. Yeah.
Silver Surfer is underrated though. I ain't gonna lie.
Silver Surfer is very underrated, and by the way, like from a spectacle standpoint, Silver Surfer on the screen in like today's era would go so hard.
Agreed.
But the other thing here is like when you think about Crossbones, it sucks that Crossbones was wasted because A, he's such a cool character. B, Frank Grillo is a phenomenal actor and he deserved a bigger role within the MCU. But like when you look at that story, it just doesn't make sense to give Crossbones a bigger role. But Crossbones isn't Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is quite literally, villain number one.
Exactly. He's probably the most powerful villain in Marvel Comics.
He is. And I think it would be cool to get listen, that's why I think it would be cool for Doom to take out Kang. And by the way, that's not uncommon in the comics. Doctor Doom always defeats Kang. He screws him over time and time again. Even in the original Secret Wars from the 80s, that's what he did. So, I think that's what can happen. I would like to see the Fantastic Four face off against Doctor Doom, but I think they need to find success with the Fantastic Four before thinking about a story, like that. I also think, let the Kang story play out. And, like I always say with the cameos and whatnot, like people need to be bought into the story, and people can't just be waiting for Secret Wars because they know, he and whoever are coming back. Like people need to be bought into the story. And I think that the most excitement of the story that we have today is Kang. And I think it would be a major mistake to take him out of the game this early.
Agreed. Yeah, you have anything more, Rome, on this?
No, that's it. Yeah, it was perfectly, brother. I don't have nothing to say. We said what we needed to say.
All right, now let's get to the MCU in shambles and some of the drama going on with Marvel. So there's a few things that I'm going to want to talk about. But first, we're going to talk about Blade. Okay, we're going to talk about Blade, and then we're going to get to some of the other projects that have been going on. Actually, no, let's start from the beginning. So there was this article that came out that kind of broke the internet about the Marvel about Marvel's like issues and what Marvel Studios has done. So let's start with the first thing, which is Disney Plus and after Endgame. And Rome, you and I were talking about this before we obviously got on this episode, and because you and I talk about this all the time. So one of the reasons why Marvel worked, MCU worked, is because Kevin Feige had his personal touch on every single movie, and you can tell by the way that the movies were created that Kevin Feige was very intricate in the way that he because I mean, and for the fans that don't know, Kevin Feige is very well known for doing his work in post prod. So after the films are shot, Kevin Feige is always the ones that is doing reshoots and changing up scenes and changing up all that stuff. And what ended up happening is after Endgame, Kevin Feige just had no bandwidth due to the multiple shows that were being done, and so Disney Plus took a nosedive. I mean, as much as I don't think, and look, I don't really think a lot of the shows were bad, but we can all say that the quality went down a lot, and the fans just weren't very receptive to all of the new content. I mean, let's talk about Secret Invasion that had a $250 million budget. Didn't look like it was a $250 million budget at all, and so, the MCU kind of has been taking L's in their Disney Plus shows. So from a Disney Plus show standpoint and how the MCU functioned after post Endgame, I want to hear you guys' opinion on that, and then we'll get to some of the other stuff that was talked about in the article. So Rome, let's start with you, homie. How did you feel about all that?
But just like the stuff we were hearing about the
So really just talk about how you felt about the MCU's decisions post Endgame and how
oh
you
yeah
think
oh yeah
they could
yeah, yeah.
be.
Well, yeah, I mean, pretty much it was clear Kevin Feige let go of the wheel. It was clear he let somebody, Bob Iger wasn't there. That made a difference. The new CEO, he came in there and he really was just about pushing out episodes and getting Disney Plus where he wanted it to be. He didn't care about connectivity. It was missing a lot. Um, and then the pandemic happened, and then like I said, it was so much stuff that happened in the last 3 years that just did not work in Marvel's favor. I mean, even with when they wanted to release Black Widow, and then they said we're gonna do it on Disney Plus, and then it's the Scarlett Johansson thing, right? So it's like it's just drama after drama after drama, and now this year, Kevin Feige said, you know what, I'm gonna get the will and take it, and now you got the Jonathan Major stuff, now you got the writer's strike, so it's like, I mean, it's just Kevin Feige is doing what he need to do, and as far as the drama, I'm not surprised. I mean, don't even get me
Yeah.
started on that writer strike stuff. Like, but
Oh,
it's a lot. It's yeah. I feel like it's going to take for Marvel. They don't need a lot of movies to just switch people's interest. To me, I feel like Deadpool is going to be the movie that get everybody back involved. In my personal opinion, I
agreed.
think Deadpool can be the movie that connect everything and make everything right.
Mhm.
It's just more about how they're going to do it. I think that every project, though, from here on out, like I was telling you, is that it has to connect. It has to mean more. It can't just be, oh, this is just this particular project. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. We got to give it a little bit more time. We got to see how the Jonathan Major stuff play out. But besides that, I think we're going to head in the right direction. I think we're going to. But yeah, it's a lot of drama, I'm sure.
Yeah, cuts. How you feel about it, bro?
Yeah, this writer strike is insane.
Hmm.
It screwed up so much. And listen, Marvel has made a lot of poor decisions since Endgame. A lot of the things that have affected them were also outside of their control, because a lot of it was outside of control, such as Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. Like it wasn't their choice for those characters to leave. I think that it was two things. I think Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans were like, hey, we've been doing this a long time. We kind of want to break or out, and Marvel couldn't keep paying them what they were paying them, like they did in the beginning when they were, building it and needed to bank on their talent. And because a lot of the decisions that affected, a lot of the things that affected them were outside of their control, the decisions that were inside of their control, they should have been much more responsible and careful with, and they weren't. And we, the fans, have suffered because of it, and I do think that, listen, I think Deadpool is going to be a major event movie. I think it's going to bring back some hype. I think Brave New World, Captain America Brave New World is going to bring back some hype.
I can't wait for that movie.
And listen, I don't think the Marvels is going to be a box office success. Unfortunately, like I don't think it has even a chance. But I do think that with this incursion wall, there is a good chance that it makes the story interesting and it brings excitement to the movie. But I don't think that. Well, I think what's going to happen is that's what's going to happen. There's going to be an incursion wall. Guys like us are going to be talking about it. Fans are going to see guys like us and, not just us, but like, a bunch of comic book movie creators, content, and they're going to start to be interested in the Marvels. But you got to remember, the economy is in the toilet. So if people aren't excited for a movie, there are a lot of people that are like, I'm going to wait till it comes out at home. I'll watch it on Disney Plus. I'm not going and, spending $23 or $24 on a ticket, and that's just where we're at. If it was something like Deadpool 3, I don't think that would be the case. I think that Deadpool 3 would pull the ticket price out of a lot more people. But let's hope that it at least, revitalizes the story a little bit coming off the heels of Loki.
For sure. So the way that I feel about it is, I do think that they fumbled the bag. I felt like going into Phase 4 would have been a perfect way to brand Phase 4 with the Fantastic Four. Would have been a perfect way to start them off. And I think that if we were able to have the Fantastic Four for the past like 5 to 6 years, I think it would have been cool. Also, I felt like Endgame posed a really good place to set up the future. Now, with that being said, we all know that the original future was Boseman, Brie Larson, and Spider-Man. And I will say, if Chadwick Boseman was alive, or if there was a recast for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever might have been the biggest comic book hero movie of all time for a solo character. I think Black Panther versus Namor would have been the greatest thing we've ever seen on screen. And I say that I would have put that over BVS, over any two heroes going at it. That movie would have been greater than Civil War. It would have been that great of a movie because in the comics, T'Challa versus Namor is literally, in my opinion, that is my favorite rivalry in comic books. So I do feel like there were a lot of opportunities for Marvel to go over the hump. For example, Multiverse of Madness. If Multiverse of Madness, now I love that movie. Comic Cuts does it. Rome, do you like Multiverse of Madness?
I like it for what it is.
Mm-hmm. So you're in the middle. You're in the middle.
I'm in the middle. I like it for what it is.
I
Exactly.
like to call it multiverse, not so much madness.
It definitely wasn't that much madness.
Yeah. And don't get Comic Cuts started on freaking what's that girl name? America Chavez. Oh my God,
Yeah,
he hated her, dude. Oh man,
I hate her, bro.
But yeah, he rants about that every week. But anyways, but like there were a lot of chances for Marvel to like win the fans back, and I felt like Multiverse of Madness was going to be that movie. So it isn't like they're completely failing. They have the chances. They're just not, using those chances that they have to actually do it. So I just think that, so that's kind of my opinion. But I do think that the Disney Plus shows, I feel like the Disney Plus shows started off to a good start. WandaVision that's my favorite show so far.
Mm.
WandaVision was great. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, minus some of the parts that I hated. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was awesome, even though they made a whole storyline about Carly, which was useless in my opinion.
It should have
When
been all about U.S. Agent.
I
They
agree.
shouldn't
I
have
agree.
had the Carly.
Yeah,
US
the
Agent
Carly thing was
was
pointless.
awesome.
I don't understand it. Like
Yeah.
U.S. Agent already had the serum. You got and this is where I think the MCU messed up is they put too many characters in the fold. Where like if we go to the past phases, it was pretty much about one character throughout the whole time, except when we got to Civil War when we got surprised with Zemo, you know, and which was Zemo's like one of my favorite characters. But you know, but like I felt like you know Marvel was just everywhere, and so Marvel did make a change to that. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm pretty sure this came out last night. They came out with something called Marvel Spotlight, and it's kind of like going to be what. Yeah, and that's kind of going to be like with James Gunn, because you know how James Gunn has DC, the Elseworlds, where that's where Robert Pattinson's Batman is going to be, and all of the projects that don't have to do with the DCU will be. So Marvel Spotlight is going to be the new branding for any shows that don't necessarily connect to the Kang stuff. So I think that's a good addition to, you know, fix what is going on, but it was definitely a problem. So, but yeah,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
It's also a great way to like test ideas. You know, you need when you have like a large successful property. I used to work for a shoe company before I was in financial services business, and that shoe company had a small factory in New York City, and they would make small batches of shoes, put them on a van, drive them to stores in New York City, and then test how they sold before. And if they sold well, then they would go to China and make mass bulk orders and ship them all across the country. But they would test them in small batches first with their small resources. And it was genius. And that company is one of the biggest shoe companies in the US. And that's like how they started, and they still do that today. And it's just a really cool creative outlet, meaning commerce. And like, you know, one of the things that Marvel and DC have that I think helps them in the movies is they get to test ideas in comic books, which don't cost them a lot of money, see how they sell, see how they buzz. And then if that idea does well, they can make a movie about it. But I also think that they could utilize Spotlight and Elseworlds to test ideas on the big screen. And then if that works, they can use that as inspiration for the larger continuous story. Now, the other thing, though, I will say, you know, going back to the Fantastic Four, like a lot of people talk about the X-Men as the saving grace for the MCU. Now, a lot of people are talking about bringing back the OG Avengers as the saving grace for the MCU. And listen, I do think that when the X-Men come, there's obviously going to be a lot of hype about the X-Men. I do think they're
watch what you say, Comic Cuts. I know where you're going. You better watch yourself. Watch what you say, bro.
Nah,
I'm listening to you.
The Fantastic Four, I think, have the ability to do that. And the Fantastic Four, you know, one of the things about like the best Fantastic Four runs, they're usually a combination of the family dynamic between the four of them, and it's like a kind of like comical and entertaining, and you know, but then it's also matched with the science part of it. And that's one thing I think like Marvel really gets right. All of the best Marvel characters have something to do with science. Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Captain America with the serum, the list goes on. You know, and I think that once they bring the Fantastic Four in, like I just don't think that the Fantastic Four never really had proper representation in movies. So they don't have a lot of fans outside of the comics space. You know, Fantastic Four fans are typically comic readers because they've never really had a successful franchise in movies. And I think this is their chance to change that. I think it's going to bring a lot of hype to the MCU. And there's just something about the best Marvel characters all having something to do with science. And the Fantastic Four, you know, literally have the smartest scientific character in the MCU, in the Marvel, bar none. And that's Reed Richards, a.k.a. Mr. Fantastic. And I think that the Fantastic Four have the ability to bring a lot more hype to the MCU than people are giving credit to or talking
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think I was going to
So I nothing. I thought you were gonna trash
say?
the idea of the OGs coming back, and you was about to get cooked on that one. But anyways,
Oh,
you're good. You're good.
I want to see Iron Man come back.
Yeah,
I
I need
think
the OGs back. I need the OGs
yeah,
back. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
We're gonna get him back. We're gonna get him. My mindset is we're gonna get him back in Secret Wars regardless. But I think if you bring him back too early, my biggest issue, especially with like RDJ and Scarlet, if you bring them back too early, it kind of diminishes the value of Endgame, right? So if you just find a way,
I don't think so.
let's just bring them back.
I don't think
But
so, bro.
you don't think so?
Nah, because I mean, it's like the comic books, bro. Like they always want to come back, but just wait till this next topic.
That's
Because I
true.
mean, just wait till this next topic. I can't wait to get into it.
Okay, okay,
But
okay, okay.
let me just touch these. Let me just touch this the next thing, and then we can move on to the next topic about the OGs. So Blade. Let's talk about Blade. So the article talked about the issues with Blade. Remember how we were hearing like a year ago about how Mahershala Ali almost walked away
Yeah.
from Blade? This is the reason why. Check this out, and this is why Feige stepped in and fired everybody because the movie was the original script of Blade was Mahershala Ali's Blade was going to be the fourth lead in the movie. The fourth lead in the movie. And the movie was going to be about basically women, like basically female vampires and about their lessons and like throughout the decades and years of life. And Blade was kind of going to be a side character in his own movie. That is why Feige had to step in, fire all of the writers. Now we have a really great writer with Blade. But yeah, so and that's also one of the reasons why Victoria Alonso got fired because she was the one leading the charge on the Blade movie, and Mahershala Ali literally had to go up to Kevin Feige himself and was like, "Yo, like look at
You're
this."
cutting in
And then
out.
Feige had to step in and become GOAT. Who I am?
Yeah,
You hear me now?
yeah,
You hear me now? Yeah, sorry.
yeah, yeah.
If Feige had to literally step in and change everything. So, and this is the part that, and I'm so happy that Feige stepped in. But why would you make the main character of a movie the fourth lead role in their own movie? I don't think you guys remember when we were in Comic-Con and they announced Mahershala Ali as Blade. That might have gotten the craziest reception. Blade got a bigger reception than Secret Wars at that time. There were more people making movies about Mahershala Ali Blade than Secret Wars.
I was always more excited about Secret Wars. I love Blade growing up, like the Wesley Snipes movies. I love every single one of them. I think Blade's a phenomenal character. I hope they do him justice and they don't water it down to make it PG-13. I understand why they would, but here's the thing, and I don't think I think people forgot about this, and I don't think we smoke the entertainment industry as a whole for what I'm about to say because they deserve a lot more smoke on this. They did it to Doctor Strange. They laundered in America Chavez. They ruined the movie. And obviously they were going to do it with Blade. And thank God Kevin Feige saw that. And he was like, hell no. They need to stop making shows, movies, anything, and selling it as a Doctor Strange movie, a Blade movie, and laundering very specific types of characters to push an agenda rather than the entertainment. Okay?
Yeah,
I agree 1,000%.
And
100%.
it's a bait and switch on your customers. If I'm buying a ticket to a Blade movie, I want a Blade movie. If I'm buying a ticket to a Doctor Strange movie, I don't want an America Chavez movie. It's not fair. It's absolutely ridiculous. People are tired of it. And the entertainment movie industry as a whole is like, we need more agenda. We need more agenda. And it's like, enough.
I agree.
It's so ridiculous.
I 1,000% agree.
And I know that a lot of people think it's divisive to talk about it, but it's not fair. It's not fair. We keep getting screwed. They keep ruining characters. They keep ruining movies. And it's like unbelievable. And by the way, with Star Wars, they did that for the sequels. And it was awful. The only good movie of the three was the first one. And that was a good movie because of Kylo Ren. And Daisy Ridley, a lot of people, they didn't like Rey, and now they're talking about doing another trilogy with Rey. People didn't like it. It did terrible. People hated those movies, and you're talking about doing it again. Take the damn hint.
I agree. Rome, you got something to say about that? Go
Because you cooked it, bro. I mean, I think the thing that comes to mind is I keep thinking about the writer's strike, right? I think about how they was trashing Marvel. The writers was like, "Oh, Marvel, it was horrible. It was a horrible experience. They were horrible to work with, right?" So then when they come to an agreement, right, to pay these writers more, my thing is, oh, you didn't think that Marvel heard that, and then you didn't think that they were gonna spot check your work.
Right.
Like if we pay you more, your work better be A1
Agreed.
because we're giving you because the moment because you talk junk about us too. So the moment we find a spot, a speck, if you fart too loud, you're out. And that's exactly what happened with Blade. I mean, we knew we knew something was going on, but when I guess Kevin Feige said, "Now let me look at this script, let me see what y'all filmed," and he said, "Oh no. We getting them out of there. That's why y'all got something packing. It's that simple. Like y'all want more money. Y'all want more money, but y'all don't want to bring that work up like it should be. You dig what I'm saying? So it's
100%.
just that's what I thought about it.
And
I
that's the other
agree.
thing, sorry, real quick.
Go ahead,
It's
bro. Go
like,
ahead.
all these writers that are on strike, and listen, everyone deserves a living wage and all of that. But
Yeah.
let's not forget that, like, a lot of these writers resent the characters that they're writing. And they're like, I'm going to write a Blade movie, but I'm going to sneak in four other characters and make Blade take a back seat. Like,
Yep.
that's not cool. You're the one baiting and switching us.
Yep.
I
Yep.
agree. I agree. Exactly. And if you want the money, you got to give us the good content because I mean, it's like look at the people who wrote Secret Wars. As much as I love Secret Wars, the writing was freaking terrible. And you want more money? Yeah, right.
Wait,
Yeah,
are
right.
you talking about the OG Secret Wars
I
or?
mean, I'm sorry, Secret Invasion. Sorry, Secret Invasion.
Oh,
The
okay.
writing on Secret Invasion for Nick
Yeah, yeah.
Fury was atrocious. Nick Fury's dialogue was literally terrible. If you look at Avengers 1, Avengers 2, every movie, even the freaking Winter Soldier, every movie that Nick Fury was in, his dialogue was fire. And the way that they made him on in Secret Invasion, the writing was legit terrible. So, you know, the the writing I think was a really big issue to the the after MCU and to this Blade movie. So yeah, so that's really all that's going on there. With like just the shows and the writing, and there's other stuff with the freaking Marvels, but I don't even want to get into that
You
because
know,
that will take me down a whole other
I
rabbit hole.
think, like, when it comes to writing, and I think Stevie talked about this recently, like, they have all the material to pull from. And I understand that for Secret Invasion, they specifically told the writers not to read the comics because this isn't something entirely different. And it obviously had nothing to do with either the first or more recent second Secret Invasion. But I do think that, like, I think that the writers that are the professional, like, screenplay writers should be working hand in hand with the comic book writers, like, and
I agree.
that's a major disconnect. I feel like DC that always does a better job of that, even though they're obviously known for a lot of problems. It's always very obvious that, like, when DC has a successful project, like, someone like, I know a lot of people hate him, but Jeff Johns is
I'm about to
involved
say,
with
don't
it.
say Zack Snyder.
No, no. Well,
Okay,
Zack
I'm about to
Snyder's
say.
not a comic
The
book
lore
writer.
killer.
Like,
Sorry. My bad.
Jeff Johns is, and hate him or love him for what he did with WB. Jeff Johns is one of the greatest comic book writers of all time. So I don't know. I just think, like, they should be using, like, that. Marvel should absolutely be working with Jonathan Hickman for, like, every movie and show right now.
Yeah. No, we have no, in the freaking future, we definitely got to talk about CW's Prime. Because the Prime that, like, that a smooth 3 to 4 years of CW was all gas. Flash and Arrow and Supergirl.
Yeah.
So we're definitely have to talk about that one of these days. Okay. So next up is so I have been hearing, and also My Time to Shine Hello also tweeted this, but I was in this little chat where they were already talking about it, and the rumor going around is that RDJ has already returned to the MCU. why I freaking spelled it wrong. But yeah, the rumor going around is that RDJ has already returned to the MCU and that he's already like in contract and that they're basically already starting to storyboard his comeback. So I'll start off first. I never wanted RDJ to die from the start. I feel like if you always got to keep someone like RDJ in the fold. Number one, because RDJ doesn't need the suit. Civil War, for prime example, the whole first half of the movie, he wasn't in suit, and the movie was still alive. Um, I also thought that RDJ was going to take more of a Nick Fury role in the future of the MCU, like before he died and all of that stuff. So it was kind of upsetting to me seeing him die and seeing the fact that we miss him. Like there's an emptiness in the MCU because RDJ's Iron Man is not there. And out of all of the characters, right, Captain America, Thor, whoever, RDJ is the easiest character to keep. You know why? Because when the mask comes on, RDJ said it. He said, well, when the mask goes on, I go and grab like a turkey sandwich. Like he's out of there, you know. So, like he said it. He was like, "Yo," he said, the second the mask is going, I'm like grabbing lunch. I'm out of here. So, why would you not want to keep a character like that? Let's also talk about this. RDJ generated Marvel Studios $23 billion. Okay, he's that dude. So and as much as he got paid, he's an underpaid actor. So the rumor is he's signing for 500 mil, and that's the rumor that I heard.
That's probably like a 10 movie deal or something crazy.
It's gonna be more than 10. I'll tell you that much, my brother.
Yeah.
But so if that is true, this is really big news for the MCU. And as much as people say this is cameos and pandering, Iron Man is the MCU. And that's just a fact. He's the face of this franchise, and there's nothing you can do about it. And Tom Holland is also another face as well, but Tom Holland's too wishy-washy. Plus, we just can't trust Sony. We saw what happened with Sony a couple years back when they tried to pull Spider-Man. So I think that bringing him back is going to bring a lot of balance to the MCU. But also, guys, imagine seeing RDJ's Tony Stark and Mr. Freaking Fantastic in the same lab working together. Imagine that. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
With Doctor Strange with freaking Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange walking in the room talking trash. That's what we need. That's so I mean comic cuts. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, listen, the MCU without Iron Man is kind of like Gotham Knights without Batman. It just doesn't feel right. And no matter how much anyone loves any character in the MCU, like Iron Man is that guy. He is the GOAT. He is the architect. It's the house that Robert Downey Jr. built, and he's like one of the greatest characters of all time. And Robert Downey Jr. is the guy that put Iron Man on the map, most of the time.
Yep.
Batman that puts an actor on the map because they get to play Batman, like Christian Bale, was kind of well known, but once he played Batman, his fame just skyrocketed. Whereas when Robert Downey Jr. played Iron Man, that's when people started taking Iron Man seriously. Listen, I love Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man. I think he is the best character the MCU ever had and will have. I love all the Iron Man movies. I think he's the best character in all the Avengers movies. And listen, Spider-Man is the hottest character that the MCU has right now. But and I know they were kind of thinking about having Spider-Man take the role of Tony Stark, but that's not Spider-Man. Spider-Man was never the leader of any team he was on. He's almost too humble for it, where, a guy like Reed Richards, Professor X, Magneto, Iron Man, that's just not who Peter Parker is. So I don't know. I love Spider-Man. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man, but he will never be Captain of the Avengers. And I'm talking Captain America now, but you get the point.
I agree. Rome, how are you about it? How are you about Iron Man coming back?
If they do it right, then I can't really be upset with it. I think that as far as Avengers Endgame, I think the reason why they killed him is because we kind of expected Cap to die. Like a lot of
Mhm.
people was like, Cap is gonna be the one because that's what I thought. I was like, oh, yeah, I know for sure
Yeah, same
Cap is
here.
gone. So for Iron Man to die, that's what made it like a stab in the heart. Like, oh, not Iron Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But at
yeah,
the
Yeah.
same time, like you said, because I think they always come back. They always come back, right? So as long as they do it right, I'm all for it. They have to figure out exactly how to bring him back. But I can't say we don't need him. I'll tell you that much.
right,
Because Lord
right.
knows, yeah. Especially if we don't got Black Panther, right? And that's a whole nother issue. We don't
Yeah.
have Black Panther. Y'all don't want to recast him. Or we need Iron Man. Because like you said, I'm not the Spider-Man. I'm not the biggest Spider-Man guy. I respect Spider-Man,
Same
but
here.
I'm not with him leading. Not no Secret Wars Avengers. Not at all. I'm sorry. So
By
yeah.
the way, by the way, you know what's crazy? So the new Avengers run, which is incredible, by the way, the one by Jen McKay, it's like I think the 7th issue just came out. They made Captain Marvel, like female Captain Marvel, the captain of the Avengers. And
Okay.
they could have done something like that with Brie
I
Larson.
like that idea.
And it's crazy that they're not, because like obviously they want, female characters to be bigger and more important. And like they should have done that with Brie Larson. She shouldn't have made the comments she made to make a lot of fans not like her. They shouldn't have brought in characters like America Chavez and the Flag Smasher girl. I think her name was Carly. They should have just made Captain Marvel more prominent and, fit the bill with that. Like,
I mean,
could be
also
the
killing off
Well,
Wanda was another
hold
big
on.
mistake too.
The other thing that they could have done is if they did recast T'Challa, they should, like T'Challa could have been a good captain of the Avengers. They need a leader.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like, by the way, I think both of those characters fit their agenda, and if they did both either of those characters, I think everyone would be happy with it.
Yeah, because they could have
Yeah.
just put the Avengers base in freaking Wakanda, which would have been 10 times more awesome.
Yep.
That would be so sick.
Bro, that would be
Yep.
sick, right?
Yeah,
And also, I mean, they were also on a good road with having. I mean, let's not also talk about how big Scarlet Witch actually is. Wanda Maximoff is the biggest female character in movie, like in superhero films. Like she's bigger than Wonder Woman, bro. At this point, like WandaVision was a
Absolutely.
movie, so Marvel had the chance to make female leads, and not saying that Scarlet Witch will lead the Avengers, but like Scarlet Witch is a powerhouse, bro. She's literally almost unbeatable at this point.
Yeah.
So like, also
Oh
killing
yeah.
off- yeah, bro, almost killing off a character like her and Doctor Strange, just like you're literally taking away all of the characters that people care about. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
but with RDJ coming back, I'm happy. So we have 3 more topics, and then we're going to be out here. So let's talk about the Echo trailer. So I watched the Echo trailer. I know I sent the comic cuts. Rome, I know you saw it as well. This
I watched it.
trailer
Yep.
was freaking amazing, and I'm going to be honest because I'm all about holding myself accountable. I trashed the Echo show for 2 years straight. I'm not going to lie. Okay, when I heard it got announced after the Hawkeye show, I went on rants. Me and Comic Cuts trashed it for months, no, for years at this point. And yeah, I literally was saying like, don't watch this project. It's like they're literally making side characters. Now, I still agree to where the Daredevil Born Again show should have been like the Ego stuff should have just been in the Daredevil Born Again show. I think she would have been a good side character. Plus, her and Daredevil have a relationship. How the hell does a blind girl? I mean, how the heck does a blind man and a deaf girl have a relationship? I don't know. Kind of weird to me.
Man.
But hey, you could have found a way to make it work. Just saying. But yeah, that's so weird. Like you're deaf and I'm blind. How do we? Anyway, we're not gonna go there. Anyways,
let's not do that. Yep.
Yeah, so dumb. But I do think that the Echo show looked crazy. The tone of the movie is different. Definitely a lower budget, but they're making it work with what they have. And I mean, Kingpin looks. Oh my god! Did you see him punch out that guy in the freaking trailer?
Yeah.
Bro, and then the blood and they're shooting people in the neck and the blood showing. The part with where Daredevil's fighting Echo. I hate the suit, but I mean at least he's in a costume. I'm really actually bro, like you really want to go that Netflix suit again? You kidding me? But I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see this show, and it's very different to the other Disney Plus shows that we've gotten. And the way the comic cuts, right? They're letting Feige cook. Feige's cooking with this project. So, so far from what I've seen in the trailers, it looks pretty cool. Rome, how did you feel about it?
I think it looks good, and like I said, I'm going to watch it regardless, right? I'm going to watch it, but I couldn't help but think like we could have got this in Daredevil, like we could have got this in Daredevil, but it does look good. I can't deny how it looks. Like I can't deny that it won't be a good story, but again, the way my brain process things, it's like, okay, where does this connect? There? Obviously, this has something to do with Hawkeye show and then Daredevil coming up. So, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm not about to say and tell you I'm not going to, but I don't know if I can't say I'm excited for it, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna watch it because it may be good. It may be good for me. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, bet cuts.
So, listen, the trailer was fire, but that doesn't make me think the show is going to be fire. I think it might be better than we expected. But listen, there's been plenty of movies and shows that we've seen a fire trailer for, and when the show or movie came out, that was not the case. And you know what was one of those? Secret Invasion. So listen, I think that Echo. Listen, I'm not that interested in Echo the character. But what I am hoping that this show serves as is to expand upon the New York City gritty street level area of the MCU to make a better ground for Daredevil. You know, I think that this show will help set the stage for Daredevil, and I think that's the purpose of it, and I hope that's the case.
I agree. I love it. Okay, so shout out to Echo. We trashed it, and I'm gonna say, Echo, I apologize because the trailer looks hard, but you still got a lot to prove. Just saying. Okay. Now let's go to some DC real quick because this is great news for me. The Superman and Lois show is ending. I'm so happy about this.
Have you watched this show?
Yes, I did. I actually did watch it because you made me. Yes, I did. I caught up.
This show's fire.
My people made me watch it too. I just started watching Superman.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not saying it's bad, but here's the deal, man. Superman does not belong on TV. I'm sorry, bro. No major character belongs on TV, bro. I'm sorry. I don't want to see Batman in a freaking TV show. I don't want to see Superman TV show. I don't want to see Iron Man in a TV show. I don't want to see Green Lantern in the TV show. These characters don't belong on TV, and I hate TV characters. I mean, I hate making like A-list superheroes TV characters, and so I'm so happy that they're chalking this show. As much as I think, like, look, I think Tyler Hoechlin is mid as Superman. All right. This is what I'm going to say. Tyler Hoechlin is a good actor. I don't like his Superman personally, but he does good with what he has. Tyler Hoechlin is covered by great writing because the writers for Superman and the Lois are freaking phenomenal, and because of the great writing, he looks good. And he is a good actor, but I don't think he's a good Superman. And when I think about Superman, Tyler Hoechlin does not come to mind for me. And I like how they're kind of trying to continue. Yeah, bro. And look, they got fans good because they're kind of continuing the Smallville type of thing. So I get it and I love it because I love Smallville, one of my favorite shows of all time. But like, dude, Superman Legacy's coming. You got to end it. You know, you got to go all in on what you got. I love David Cornsweet. And so this is a great decision. Plus, Jonathan Kent never got his costume, and you know how I feel about costumes. So, yeah, this is great news for me. I'm happy.
Listen, I love Superman and Lois, and Superman and Lois is ending due to like CW and budgets. It's not ending because the show wasn't good. People love the show, myself included. there are some people that say Tyler Hoechlin is the greatest Superman of all time, which is crazy.
Smoking,
absolutely
smoking crack, bro.
If you were saying Tyler Hoechlin is the best Superman of all time, you shouldn't be making content around shows and movies. That is
absolutely
a wild take.
Super wild.
Super wild. But the show is an entertaining, fun, easy watch. Listen, I always thought it was weird that Superman is on a CW show. It's nuts. But I love the show. I enjoy it. I do think Tyler Hoechlin does a fantastic job for the show. I don't think he's a bad actor. I think he plays the part really well. I think he deserves other roles on TV, and he probably will have a long and prosperous career. But to say he's the greatest Superman of all time, you are off your rocker. And I'll leave it at that.
Good. Okay. Rome, how about you?
Bro, I just started watching it, bro. Probably a month ago. And to be honest, I'm behind because I have so many shows to catch up on. I like the show. Show is a good show. But I agree with you, bro. When I look at him, bro, he don't look like Superman to me. He does not have the look of Superman to me. But he acts. His acting is good. Yeah. But when I see his face, I just be like, that ain't Clark Kent, bro. He ain't got it. But the show itself, what I can say, what I really loved about the show, and I only watched a couple episodes, I loved how they did Lex Luthor, bro. Lex Luthor was that guy in that show. Yeah. I can tell you that off rep. I love that. But yeah, that's really it. I mean, it's sad, but you got to move on. We got to prepare for this new guy.
You know who's also in this show, by the way, is John Henry Irons. They should do if they have the budget for it, which they probably don't, because apparently the CW, by the way, has never been profitable. But it would be cool if we got a spin-off of Steel with John Henry Irons.
Nah, I'm good, bro. No, just leave it all alone, man.
Nah, I thought that
end it all. End it all. But I mean, I'm happy that it's ending. But you know me, man. I am a James Gunn gawker. I am a James Gunn shill. So I am pro. I want everything James Gunn to stay, man. Shout out to my boy James Gunn. James Gunn, Look, if you want to give someone press greetings, hit us three up. We will show up wherever you are. If you even want to pay us on the side to show for you, I'm kidding. But seriously, we can talk about that offline, James Gunn. But James Gunn, we are on your side, bro. So please just keep canceling stuff and keep making everything singled out, because Corn Sweat is the future, and he is, to me. I'm not going to say it yet, but wait till this screen test comes out, okay? And you'll be hearing me say he's the greatest Superman of all time. This is Robert Pattinson all over again. So, I think the same way Pattinson passed Bale in the first Batman movie. Don't speak comic cuts. The same way Pattinson passed Bale as the greatest Batman. The same way Corn Sweat is going to mop Henry Cavill as the best Superman. So, and I'm gonna leave that there.
I think
Pattinson passed Bale. What?
Yeah.
Thank you, Rob.
Bro, Pattinson passed Bale.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. Pattinson passed Bale, bro? Really?
Bro, after the first screen test, he passed him. When they were in the red, yeah, he been past Bale, bro.
Oh, bro, I'm emphatically disagree with you with that. No, bro.
That's a crazy take.
Nah, bro, he been past Bale.
That's your opinion. I'm not gonna argue with that's your opinion, but I can't, bro. And Patterson is good. But I would have to see Patterson as a more mature Batman, because in this last Batman, he clearly was young. He was very young. I'm trying to figure my work-life balance out. I would want to see him a little bit older and a little bit seasoned before I make that decision, bro. Bale got 3 of them, and he got the Joker. He got Bane. Now, I have my issues with Bale, but, that's a mean statement, bro.
Hear me on this. The Batman 2 is going to be the greatest comic book movie of all time, and the Batman 2 is going to secrete Robert Pattinson as most likely the greatest actor to take on a character ever in and that's just how I feel, man. I think that what Matt Reeves is cooking up over there, I think it's something that is going to change the game, man. And
too early.
if they bring Robin, it's over. Bro, if they put Robin in this movie, it's over. You can't even compare Nolan's ish ever, bro. Can't even compare it. You can't even compare it.
Robin's in the movie. Robin was also in Batman Robin, and that was whack. Number one,
bro, but
number two,
but
it's
Matt
too
Reeves.
early to say it because when I met Daniel Craig, it was right after Quantum of Solace came out, and I told him, listen, I think you're going to go down as the best Bond ever, but it's a little early to say that. And you can't really, number one, compare Pattinson to Bale this early on. But if you were to compare the performance of Bale in The Batman versus Bale in Batman Begins, Bale smokes him. And I'll tell you why.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm dead serious.
Go ahead.
Pattinson played the character. Batman was the same as Bruce Wayne with and without the mask, whereas Bale played Batman and Bruce Wayne, and Pattinson just played the same guy whether the mask was on or off. So I think Bale did a better job of showing range, playing the part, having versatility, and we didn't see that from Pattinson in the Batman. And it's not to say the Pattinson didn't do a phenomenal job, and the movie wasn't fire, and it's one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, and it's one of the greatest performances of all time. It is. But you also have to realize you're talking about Christian Bale, who is arguably number one.
No, he's not.
He is, bro.
Bro. Yeah.
Bro, you can't, bro. Stop doing Christian like that, bro. He.
Bro, I'm sorry, man.
No, you good, bro.
The worst Batman suit of all time. Literally, that suit is ugly as hell.
This is why,
the worst villains of all time. The worst villains of all time. The worst villain performances. The most mid villain performances. The worst fighting. Not to mention Rachel was an annoying hack of trash in the second movie. Don't even get me started, bro. But we're gonna say that for another episode. But we're not gonna get into the Dark Knight debate.
Oh Jesus, bro. Yeah, we gonna have to talk about this, bro. We gonna have to talk about that.
Rome, look. So. We actually did a Batman movie rankings episode months back. I would love to revisit it because my list has actually changed. I will say.
Okay.
So I did.
He's gonna put Batman Forever over the Dark Knight.
Shut up. That is true. But I did have the Dark Knight over Batman Forever. Batman Forever has gone up a lot. But anyways, so I do have a new list, and I would just say this. Give me Val Kilmer and Robert Pattinson any day over Bell, and I'll just end it there. I'll just end it there. Okay. Now we're gonna end the episode with this topic that was kind of going around last week. We never got to it, but now the Marvels has end credits that are literally blowing up the freaking the whole entire game. Right? The Marvels is going crazy. So basically, So just to break down what is going on in the Marvels, aside from the Ronin type character that they're fighting against some random chick, who knows? That's actually Tom Hiddleston's wife, by the way. So there is an incursion wall.
Tom Hiddleston's wife?
The villain, yes, that's his wife, the girl. Yeah. So shout out to Tom, got his wife a job. That's fire. But anyways, so basically what ended up happening is there's an incursion wall. We see them touching it in the beginning of the movie, all this stuff, and apparently when she touches the wall, it's making them switch powers. It's probably because of the incursion wall. So what is so the ending theory is that Monica is going to go through the incursion wall and she's going to end up on another Earth. Now in the beginning of the movies, that Earth was going to be 838, and I know Rome, you probably heard me talk about this. Comic Cuts, we've talked about it, how the original plot for Secret Wars was going to be the 838 Earth versus our MCU. Because of what Wanda did in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, how she killed the whole entire Illuminati. But that is not going to be the case anymore. The new rumor is that when she goes through the incursion wall, she will be with Beast or Wolverine. and then the movie is going to end. So she's basically going to go through the incursion wall, and she's going to end up in the Fox X-Men universe that we saw back in the early 2000s. And
Yo,
that's how it is going to end.
that would be so dumb to do it with Beast and not Wolverine, and I'll tell you why. So I get why the thought of having Beast, because Beast is a scientist and he's probably studying the incursions, but
That isn't why. That isn't why.
okay,
That isn't why. So
regardless,
yeah.
it's a post-credit scene, so it doesn't make a difference what they're doing on the other side of the incursion wall, because we're only going to see it for like 20 seconds, so you might as well throw Wolverine in there.
Yeah, so I would love Wolverine just because it would be going right into the Deadpool movie. So do that. But the at least the rumor that I heard is that it's going to be like Beast and Wolverine and Deadpool and a few other characters. So, but Beast is just going to be the one that she's going to see. So, I mean, I think either way is going to be a huge cameo. But I mean, obviously, if you have Wolverine, that's going to freaking break the internet.
Yeah.
So,
Daniel
my
Radcliffe,
guess.
oh man, I can't wait.
No, Hugh Jackman, bro.
I know.
Jesus Christ. I know you hate Daniel Radcliffe Wolverine, but freaking Harry Potter Wolverine. But yeah, so yeah, dude, that'll be nuts. But
yeah,
I'll sort of. I think this is pretty exciting. And this is the connectivity that we need. How it can link into the next movie. So I mean, I don't see anything wrong with this end credit scene happening. How do y'all feel about it?
Rome, you want to take this one?
Sure. I think it's inevitable. I think it's a great thing to happen. I think it should happen. I think that is what we're going to need to, again, it's going to line everything back up with Deadpool, in my personal opinion. And that will make 1,000% sense. You got to tie Captain Marvel in with that. It has to. Because that's the only way people going to really even try to watch Captain Marvel for real. Like, because they're not gonna go see it for Brie, obviously, right? Like, you gotta throw that in there and say, look, if it's once people buzz about it this time next week, I think that's when you're gonna people gonna get up and see it, or at least wait to see it on video. But I think that as far as just having that in the movie, having that X-Men, it has to. If that connection, that's what I live for. That's what will rank that movie to me high for me, just off of that. So to me, it's absolutely necessary. Now, who, like Wolverine or Beast? I think either or I would personally be excited. But because I used to love Beast, I was a Beast guy. But Wolverine, I mean, you can't go wrong with Wolverine.
Yeah.
So
one thing you made me just realize, Rome. Now, listen, I obviously I said I would like to see Wolverine. Regardless of the post-credit scene, this movie is a make it or break it for Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. Like, if
absolutely.
And the problem with that for her is, even if the movie is good and amazing, it's not going to be a box office success. And regardless of the movie being good or not, if it flops and then people are talking about how it flops, and Brie Larson, like, she's going to have... listen, even if it flops and the movie sucks, I don't think Marvel will take Brie Larson's Captain Marvel off the board. But I do think that fans will just be like, whatever about her till her character dies or whatever the case may be. And it kind of reminded me of The Flash. Like, The Flash, I know, Stevie and I thought it was a great movie. Rome, I don't really know where you stand on it. But the thing is like, even though the movie was good, people were ripping on it because it flopped at the box office. And I think that's what's going to happen to Captain Marvel. Because I think this movie will be enjoyable. I do. I think it's going to be decent. I don't think it's going to be over the top amazing, but I think it's going to be a fun movie. I think it has a lot of things going for it that people aren't talking about, mainly being Miss Marvel, the incursion wall, obviously the post credit. But yeah, I think this movie is going to seal Brie Larson's fate as like a character that was supposed to be one of the top MCU characters, and she's going to be the biggest character flop in the MCU history.
Yeah,
Can
I
I
think
ask y'all a question?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
No, no, my fault. Let me always wonder, what is
you're
Huh,
cutting in and
Rome?
out.
Say that again, Rome. We didn't hear you.
Still can't hear you.
Still can't hear you, bro. All right, I hear you now.
Oh, my fault. Okay. I was saying, what is it about Brie Larson that people just don't like?
Good
Comic
question.
cuts. Oh, go ahead.
Listen, I think she came out at a very politically divisive time, number one. And I don't think she made a lot of comments that like were disrespectful and a turn off to a lot of fans. Mainly being like, I don't really care what white men think of my movie.
And the
Um,
feminism stuff, all that stuff. Yeah.
and sorry, what was that?
I say yeah, and literally the whole entire Endgame press run, she was pushing like like a bunch of feminist stuff, and then there were even scenes of like, and you could see like Chris Hemsworth and them, they were getting uncomfortable around her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like during the interviews, because like don't you know how like during all of the Avengers like press runs, they all like roast each other. They were trying to do that with Brie Larson,
Yeah.
and Brie Larson would literally get angry, like literally would get mad during the interviews.
She basically had this attitude that like my social politics are right, and I'm going to talk to everyone as if you don't see the world exactly the way I do, I'm going to be condescending to you. And listen,
Wow.
to anyone who's watching this show, whether you agree with her or not, you got to be honest and think when you're doing a press run for a movie, it's not a good idea to be political and divisive. And that's why we don't want to talk politics on the show. We talk about it like
Oh,
in
obviously,
this
yeah.
context when it's right, but I'm not getting on to preach my politics to you. I just want to talk about the movies. And unfortunately, sometimes actors' politics impact their reception in the movie to the fans. And I think that Brie Larson was very condescending with her social politics, and she was very arrogant about it as well. And on top of that, like I loved Captain Marvel. I thought it was a great movie, but a
Same
lot of
here.
people didn't. And I think that a lot of people didn't like the movie on top of her condescending politics, and it just never ended well for her. And aside from all that, even if you're like me and you love Captain Marvel, like Brie Larson never really had any big moment in the MCU other than her Captain Marvel solo movie and the end of Endgame. Other than that, like the Marvel didn't really do a good job with her. So she doesn't have a great track record with her character in the MCU. She's divisive amongst fans, and it's coming back to bite her in the butt.
Yep, exactly. And that's why so many people are angry with her. And like, look, and like, I think I think she was serving looks in these trailers and all that. Like, it's like, but I do think that she has the Iron Man complex. And I've said this before. A lot of people don't understand. Iron Man 3 wasn't the best project. You know what I mean?
No.
And as much as people like, yes, I mean Iron Man 3 is good, but it's not like so it's not like a Winter Soldier level project. Same with Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 is great, but it's nothing like what we saw with like the Winter Soldier or Civil War or even Ragnarok, where it's like it's just they're hitting every point. And RDJ's Iron Man was his best when he was amongst other and more characters, because that's just the way that Iron Man works. Like as great as Robert Downey is, Iron Man, his he's the most Iron Man is at his best when he's with the Avengers, when he's with the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy. And I think Captain Marvel has that same complex where I don't think Captain Marvel really is going to ever do good with her own solo movie. I think Captain Marvel does better amongst other characters being the muscle. And to be honest, that's also the same complex that I feel that the Hulk is in. I don't think the Hulk does good with his own solo movie. The Hulk is better as like, look, in Thor Ragnarok, I think the Hulk, that was the best Hulk performance I've ever seen. Because why? Because the Hulk was the muscle. And with Captain Marvel, I don't and even when I read the comics, Captain Marvel's personality is a little too bland for me to be a lead. And I feel like when you have her as like just the muscle or the leader, kind of sort of, I think that those are good roles. And because like I look at people like even freaking Cyclops, right? Cyclops is a great leader, which the X-Men never touched on. But Cyclops is one of the best leaders in comic book history. And Cyclops also is one of the deep-rooted emotional characters in comic book history. And when I look at him and when I look at Captain Marvel, I would take Cyclops to lead the Avengers over her. I would take Cyclops to be a main character in the Avengers movie over her because there's just more to him as a character. And yes, and as much as I love Captain Marvel, that movie showed how bland her personality actually is with the Lieutenant Trouble crap. It's like, bro, like it just seems cringe and bland. So and that's I think that's another reason why a lot of fans don't like her.
It's interesting too because from a spectacle standpoint, like she should have a lot going for her. The other thing, the Marvels, like at least there are two other characters in this movie. I know you're a big fan of Photon. I know we're both Rome. I don't know how you feel about Miss Marvel, but we love Miss Marvel. I thought that was a great show.
I love Miss Marvel.
I think I love her. Great. Yeah, that was fire. And by the way, like she killed it on her press runs. She killed it in that show. I mean, that girl is like a superstar in the making. And, I don't know. I think Brie Larson should, take some notes on the way that girl, I think Imani is her name.
Imani.
Imani. I think she should take some notes on the way Imani handles the press because she comes off, not arrogant. She comes off as friendly, approachable. And like Brie Larson, she acted like she was Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a way to do it because even Chris
Evans.
Even Chris Pratt, right? Even when they were trying to cancel Chris Pratt, it isn't like Chris Pratt was out here being condescending. Chris Pratt was standing on what he believed in, and Robert Downey and them stuck up for him. You know why? Because he did it respectfully and he didn't disrespect others to drive something that he believed in. I don't really have an issue with Brie Larson talking about, what she believes in, but Chris Pratt knows that there's a time and place to do it, and Chris Pratt doesn't go on his press runs and preach what he believes in. He uses his own Instagram platform to do that. And with Brie Larson, Brie Larson used her Marvel platform to literally push that. And bro, I promise you, Rome, as bland as Captain Marvel is, if she didn't do that, she would be the biggest superhero right now. I promise you that because Captain Marvel did $1 billion, and after Endgame, if she kept like that really good personality that that we saw with ScarJo, with Elizabeth Olsen, and people were Captain Marvel simping after the movie and Endgame. It's really just that press run for Endgame that destroyed her, bro. It destroyed her whole career. So it's on her, man. It's on her.
Yeah, my fault, y'all. I had to ask it.
Nah, bro, you're good. No, you're good.
Also, like, and I know the review bombing thing is like immature and whatnot, but she had that attitude on the press run for Captain Marvel, and she should have, like, when that movie got review bombed, she should have been like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Like, I'm just going to promote the movie the way I'm supposed to, but that wasn't the case. And, it's got to be awkward for like someone like Kevin Feige to have to call an actor and be like, hey, listen, we need you to be more mature when you're doing press. Like, how do you call a grown adult and say that to them?
Exactly. Dragon Trainer, what's up, dog? I am excited too. I can't wait to see it next Thursday. I actually move on Wednesday, so I'm still going to see it Thursday. And also, just want to say this: if Loki and the Marvels link to Deadpool 3, that would be freaking awesome. That would be a dope thing because they both come out on the same day.
Yep.
So
I think so, bro. I think we're going to get a double. Yeah.
Double whammy. I think so. So, all right, we're going to end here, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Rome, thank you for jumping on. You guys are definitely going to see Rome again. So,
for sure.
And Rome, hit me up next time you go live. Comic Cuts and I are going to jump on your TikTok and talk.
Oh, for sure. For
cook
sure.
some of your fans
I'm-
out there because them comments be pissing me off, bro. I'll be reading them comments, bro. Woo, your fans, man. Oh man, they be on my page talking crap, bro. I got some smoke for some of them, bro. For real.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna try to do something within the next. I know you said you moving next week, so maybe within the next 2 weeks,
All right,
I'll
but
try to do
hit me up.
something, and I'll hit you up though. We'll get something going. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for letting me on.
Of course,
Thanks for coming on. This is a blast,
Rome,
bro.
anytime you want to get something off, let me know, bro. You are always welcome to come on to our show. And next time you're on, we're definitely gonna do a Batman rankings because I got a lot to say about Mr. Bill.
Yeah,
I gotta hear this, bro. I gotta hear this, but I appreciate it.
He's gonna go the Batman forever.
Oh my god! All right,
Okay.
all right. I'm gonna end it here, guys. Look, please like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. Hit us up on. We're on these live streams. These podcast episodes are also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So check them out. Have a great day and peace out, y'all.